Hi there, it's Troy coming at you from central London with another video. You can see Nelson's column behind me, and you can see hopefully one of the lions there at least. I'm in Trafalgar Square, so a little bit of London flavour for you there today. So this is the second in a few videos that I'm doing about confidence and lack of confidence and how to become confident. Now, if you saw the last video in this series, I was talking about my own journey with confidence and how actually when I was a kid and when I was a young adult, I really lacked confidence, and actually things were very difficult for me. And that was compounded actually because I was also diagnosed with clinical depression as well, and I had to go and seek medical attention for that. I had to go and seek medical help for that in various different ways. And so, you know, and now whether the depression sort of came about almost as a result of the things that had happened to me, almost as a result of the fact that I lacked confidence and I found it hard to deal with some of the issues that I faced, is I guess a moot point. You know, it's very hard sometimes to sort of single out cause and effect with these things, but nevertheless, you know, I got to a pretty bad sort of state of affairs with depression and with feeling very down on myself when I was a late teen and into my early 20s. But then things shifted, and it was actually in my early 20s when I was living in a city called Manchester, which is in the north of England, that I started to break through, and my confidence started to not only sort of come back, because I never really had it in the first place, but it started to not only to grow but to thrive. And I sort of became suddenly, it's kind of incredible now, and I've written about this in some of my books, including if you get my book 10 Times Happiness, Zero Bullshit, I talk about this. I also talk about it in How to Be an Arsehole as well. I mean, it's kind of incredible now for me to look back on this time and see just how radically I changed, because I went from being this shy guy sitting in the corner who wouldn't say boo to a goose to almost overnight becoming this kind of radically outrageously cocky, arrogant, confident bastard, really. And actually what kind of happened, and this is a danger that you've got to be aware of, I almost went a little bit too far, and I had to rein it back in to become like a relatively normal functioning member of society. So look, I mean, I try to do a very potted history of this now, because I don't want to I could be talking about this all day, but what happened for me is an unusual journey, and it's not one that I would necessarily recommend or wish on anybody. But as I say, I went to university in Manchester, which back at that time was a big party city, loads of great clubs there, loads of great bars, and I was let off the leash from my sort of suburban home, and you know, I just went pretty mental. I got into drinking, I got into using, you know, other naughty substances. The house music scene was just picking up at that time. It was a crazy time. It was an amazing time, sort of the beginning of house music, the beginning of the clubbing boom, super clubs, awesome times. And you know, I had a lot of fun, and I also had a lot of kind of dark times as well. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is that there was a kind of a seismic shift, and there was three elements to it really. There was, firstly, I dealt with my depression, so I was coming out of my depression. Secondly, and this again I don't recommend to anybody, but I'd started to drink and I'd started to party. And thirdly, I'd made a more or less conscious decision just to give less of a fuck. Okay, so when you combined all of those things together, you had this guy who'd been sort of shackled by his own lack of confidence, by his own fear, if you like, really, suddenly let off the leash and suddenly able to just socially do what the hell I wanted to do, you know. So as I say, I mean, look, my story involves drinking and partying, and you know, how can I put this? That led me to a lot of trouble down the line. That wasn't a good decision. So I'm not saying to anybody for 1 second, if you're watching this video, oh my god, what should I do, how can I become more confident, that you should go and you should go and do the things that I did, because it's not a good path to go down, and I paid very dearly for that path over many years. And I now no longer drink, and I no longer use any substances. I've been clean and sober for a long time. I got a lot of help with that. If anybody out there wants to know exactly what I did, do drop me an email and I'm happy to chat to you. But look, anyway, I mean, the point is that it required that kind of seismic, almost like chemical explosion in my life to sort of break out of my lack of confidence. Also, as I say, I handled the depression, but fundamentally underlying all of that was this decision just to give less of a fuck. So what does this mean for you? Okay, here's what I think, right? I think that you can do what I did, but without getting heavily into drinking and partying and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to do that. all you've got to do is look for natural means to break out of your mold, and that can be done in various ways. You know, it can be done by traveling, it can be done by exercise, it can be done by getting into something creative. There's loads and loads of different ways. All you need to do is break up the stale patterns of your life, and then you need to make a decision. Actually, I'm just not going to give a fuck. Actually, I'm just going to go for it socially, and I'm going to just see what happens. I'm going to take risks socially and see what happens. And I'll tell you something else as well. Momentum, as with all these things, is really important. So the more risks that you take, the more you put yourself out there, the more socially the wheels are oiled, and it becomes almost addictive after a while. You're like, whoa, this is amazing. I can get away with so much more than I thought. I can be confident. I can rock the party. People love it, and yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and you can do this. And I'm going to help you to do this on this channel, and you certainly don't need to go down the slightly unfortunate route that I took at the beginning, although I don't regret it now, because I don't think we should regret anything in life, and I had some amazing experiences too. But anyway, that's my story. That's a little bit of how I came out of my lack of confidence into becoming a much more confident person. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about how I now maintain my confidence levels and how you can maintain yours too. So do subscribe to this channel. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Do sign up to my daily emails 5 times a week straight to your inbox from me, and do get my Renegade Dating Blueprint bundle of 11 books about dating, game, the sexual marketplace, going out partying, all of that fun stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.